Hello, girlies. Happy Wednesday. So, this is like a feminine energy prerequisite video. And if you haven't gotten my free feminine energy guide, then run. It's going to be linked in the description box. And that's also just another all inclusive way to approach your feminine energy journey. So, the first point that I'm going to address is holding space for yourself without judgment. And that essentially to me is what grace means, being able to hold space, being able to exist and flow and feel pleasure without having to be too strict on yourself. You don't need to be perfect. Your body will feel how it feels, and all of your feelings are good and fair because you can't control how you feel. You can only control how you react to the feelings that are coming up. And your feelings and whatever comes up is a compass as to whether or not you feel like your needs are getting met, whether or not you're happy, whether or not you are in alignment with what your body knows it needs. And as a woman, being in touch with your feelings is really important because that's basically how you start honing your intuition. And a woman's intuition is very powerful. I was watching a video and they were talking about how women are inherently prey. They're the prey of our society. And we're always on alert and we're always trying to make sure that we're safe because we are prey and men essentially are predators. And not to say that men are bad, but they just have this instinctual predatory nature that when used for the people in their community is very beneficial. Like it keeps you safe. It keeps you feeling like you can trust them because they're willing to do what is necessary to make sure no harm comes to you and your people. But when used selfishly or for the wrong reasons, it can definitely harm women. And so your intuition is an evolutionary gift, basically, that we've been given as human females. So be in alignment with it because it's going to facilitate your life. The body knows much, much earlier before the brain can rationalize and before the tongue can speak. And in the art of learning how to be more graceful is slowing down. And when you're slowing down, you're kind of disconnecting from the rigidity of society as a whole, from how society tells you that you have to operate, from how society tells you that you have to be at the certain age through the certain timeline. You're disconnecting from that and you're connecting into the knowing of your body and the pace that it's naturally supposed to operate at. Something that I picked up when I was in a dance class is to walk as if you're on a cloud, to walk as if you're floating, as if you're kind of defying the laws of physics. And that just kind of gives it a fun way to look at how you move through the world because you don't have to move so rigidly and so abruptly and so aggressively. Like you can have fun with how you move. You can play with how you move. It can be an ongoing experiment and an ongoing journey of self-discovery. Something else, which I'm not really honoring right now, is talk more slowly and try not to stress your vocal cords when you speak. So I have a sore throat and my vocal cords are going to be stressed just because I've committed to posting every day. But I'm assuming this is not your goal. So when you speak, speak at a level that is comfortable for your body. If someone can't hear you, let them come to you. If someone can't hear you, enunciate to your best abilities. And if they really want to hear what you have to say, they will make the necessary investment to gain proximity or access to what you're trying to communicate. in psychology terms, I think this is also called having someone enter your frame. And it's basically when you kind of put the other party in their masculine energy so that they can access your information or your thoughts or your words. Examine how people walk and see whether you like how they move, because you can't learn in isolation. Humans are social creatures. We learn from seeing others, and that's the best way we learn. That's how children learn. They don't learn by what you tell them they should and shouldn't do. They learn by what you actually embody. Something else that is important when you're embarking on your feminine energy journey is having faith that what is meant for you will find you always. And in my feminine energy guide, I have an affirmation that kind of says something along the lines of, I want it, so it's already mine. It's just making its way towards me. And when you affirm that to yourself, you realize that because you're not following society's timeline, nothing has to exactly follow your timeline, but it's going to get to you at the perfect moment. What you want wants you more. Everything will work out. It doesn't matter if it works out the way you wanted it to or not, because you're going to gain the necessary lessons in order to experience your desires to the maximum levels of pleasure that you can. You're in alignment with your highest self, especially when you're tapped into your intuition, when you're allowing your feelings without judgment and without shame. Even the other day, I felt ashamed because I did something that I shouldn't have done. I'm not going to go into the details, but when I feel shame, I feel it in my stomach. And instead of judging myself harder, I kind of just sat with the feelings of shame. And I digested them, and I just put my hand over the sensations that I was feeling. And I sat there, and after I felt through them, I realized, yeah, I messed up. I'm human. But I'm just going to do my best to not make the mistake again. And there's nothing that I could do from that moment because what I had done had already been done. The next piece I want to address is that beauty in itself is high vibrational and graceful. And the way I approach beauty is not specifically through the aesthetics, as I mentioned at the beginning of my video. Aesthetics has a lot to do with it, but it's not the only thing that I go for. I go more for like a curation of the senses. Like I try to smell good. I try to feel soft and moisturized at all times. I try to look pretty to my best abilities. I understand how different colors affect the different chakras. I like tasting good things, and I like feeling in my head that I taste good, so I take cranberry pills. When I speak, I try to speak in a way that I enjoy the way I sound. Like even when I record and I listen back, I speak in a way where I don't feel like I'm straining my voice, even though we've already addressed that it's not the case for right now. You're curating yourself so you're a pleasant experience for everyone else, but more importantly for yourself. Like you're having fun in the piece of art that you are as you exist with other humans. It's another way to play, and to play with how people perceive you, and to play with how you feel good in your own vessel. And I know a lot of us are like, oh, I'm low maintenance. I don't have to blah, blah, blah. Feeling beautiful is so delicious. It really changes the way you move through the world. And I feel like from the depths of my soul, beauty is a choice, because there's a lid for every pot. There's a way to curate every body. And I know the soft life girlies are speaking up about how it's important for us to be fit because most wealthy women are skinny. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, if you're not skinny in the moment, you still have to love yourself at where you're at. Like, because this is just who you are. And being a soft life girly is about enjoying your life. So if you are hating yourself to get to a life that you enjoy, that feels kind of conflicting. And that takes me to my next point, which kind of goes back to holding space for yourself without judgment. But stop being mean to yourself. When you make a mistake, sit with your feelings. When mean thoughts come up, challenge them. Is this thought 100% true? And if you don't have the energy for challenging it, literally just point out that this is a negative feeling that you don't have to align with. I have more on that in my Free Feminine Energy Guide. Please get it. It's really good. It's really good. And I'm not just saying that to pat myself on the back. I just know it's good. And sometimes things are going to come up and you're genuinely not going to know how to deal with them. And in that moment, just say a prayer. Be like, I release this to God. This is above me. The solution will come even with me not doing any work. Because sometimes you really just have to release things to the divine. There's nothing you can do from your human stance to solve something. You just have to have faith that it's all going to work out in your best interest. The next thing you can do is learn the art of seduction. And I don't mean Robert Greene's version of seduction, because I feel like Robert Greene, his book is very much written by a man. And I say that to my friends all the time, but it's so much written by a man. Like, he's such a dude. He's such a dude in the way that he approaches seduction. To me, seduction is having the ability to make someone feel more in love with themselves when they're in your presence. And I have a whole course that is also linked in the description if you're interested in better learning how to exercise that skill. And then my last thing is having manners. I feel like a lot of people's parents did not set them up for success. They didn't tell them how to be pleasant. They didn't tell them how to be considerate of others. And I blame colonialism, even though I also blame our construct of what manners is on colonialism. Duality. Stay with me here, okay? Stay with me here. When you walk into a space, greet people. Be open, especially if this is a space where you're gonna be returning to. Like, don't be so quick to just get in, get out. And I know sometimes we're tired, and that's just what we have the capacity to do. And I understand that completely. I'm from New York. There's too many people over there, which is why a lot of us are coming to Miami. I hope no one from Miami watches this. When you want something, say please. Or when you ask for something, say please. Say excuse me when you're trying to walk by someone. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. If the settlers had done this, they probably wouldn't have murdered so many indigenous people. Say thank you often, and when it's appropriate, show gratitude. And use the word good morning. Like, just have manners. Know how to be polite. And no one's perfect, ever. That's never the goal. The goal is to be someone who enjoys existing. And that's a lot easier as a human, which is a social animal, when you can be social, when you have the skills to be social. Yeah, that is the end of my video. I had fun. I hope you guys got something from it. Please like and subscribe and comment. Ew, cringe. That feels so funny to say. But whatever. Have a good day, y'all.